Well, I got caught up in the Masters, and it looks like it's working. Well, I got caught up in the Masters. Let me just close some of these windows. I got so much going here. Get the light better. Keep my machine running. Okay, I'm almost there. Almost there. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglosh for the Wisconsin DMA and the International Society for Strategic Marketing. Luckily, I still have my clock going. Well, I wanted to call your attention, as usual, to the meetup that's coming up next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Central Daylight Time. People ask me, is there a way to record it? No, that's silly. It's a meetup. It's just fun. We're going to have some fun, and we're going to chit chat about direct marketing, about direct mail, about what's working for each of us, and we're gonna try and see if anybody can map out a way to win back that digital mess that's stealing from our budgets. You know, for 25 years, I've watched young, progressive marketers come in and say, mail is old fashioned, mail doesn't work, let's get rid of mail. And oftentimes running their company into the ground, if nobody's paying attention, running it out of business, only to find maybe somebody with wisdom putting it back together again. So we'll talk about a lot of fun stuff, but mostly just fun. And if you're in the UK, stay up late, and you can have a pint and join us. If you're on the West Coast, it'll only be noon, so it's a martini lunch. So go over to wdma.org, and there's kind of only the background is showing. I might fix it, but we'll try to post it in LinkedIn and get you there. But who knows if that's going to happen. So wanted to start with that. Okay. Yesterday I promised you a great article by Stephen Yu, who is really good. I could do a full session every time he writes an article, pretty much. I'm really happy to see that he's still writing. It seems like a little shorter format than it was in when he was with Target Marketing, which they sold out to Adweek. It seems like he's, maybe there are constraints that they have about the word length. But I'll take advantage of that, because that means that what he leaves out, I can fill in, and we can tag team it. And of course, Steven's been on this show before, and he can come back and defend himself anytime he wants. So if you're out there, you just let me know, and we'll set it up. Okay. So there's so much packed into just this right here. Transaction data is the most powerful predictor of future behavior. And let's just dig into it, because we'll give him the chance. Most customers are predictable, of course, and there's some ways that they're predictable that they will buy, and sometimes predictable that they won't. But the fact is that right off the bat, parting with money is a level of engagement that is, whether it's 10 cents or $1 or $20. And I have I think, an interesting article that I wrote, and then I sent to Brad Parscale, who ran one of the campaigns in 2016. And Brad was a direct marketing veteran, and I called his office, in fact, when he was still there, and they gave me his contact information. And I sent it to him, because I said, this is so crazy that I don't know what to say about it. And it's titled "Direct Marketing Won the Election," or something like that. And Brad wrote me back, which was nice of him, after reading it. And he said, "You were one of the only people who figured out what we did." And what they did was they sold signs and bumper stickers and hats. They got people to part with the money because they felt like the polling was off kilter. That just asking people what they thought is not the same as getting them to buy. And there's a really profound principle there. And I'll post that one with today's show notes, so you can grab it. I think I have it as a PDF, or I'll make it into a PDF. But it's also on LinkedIn. It's one of the, you have to scroll back. I have about 30 articles up on LinkedIn. When I first started, I was getting 2,000 views, and then all of a sudden it went to like 100 when they switched the algorithm. A friend of mine was the VP of marketing. He asked me to put one in, and then when he left, it's like all my views stopped. So I think they have some influence on stuff. Anyway, so one of the key words here is customers. If you want to do predictive modeling, measuring clicks, measuring persistence, measuring all kinds of things that we think about as metrics aren't the same. Not all metrics are equal. And getting someone to buy from you is a big deal. Now, that said, here's the big problem. The big problem is about 60% of them will never come back. Only buy once. And time goes by, and they haven't bought lately, and, they didn't spend much either. Most people are trying you out. And that's why, even more important than the funnel, is probably how well you fulfill that order. How fast, how well, how you keep them in the loop. Just the basics. How well do you do the basics? So that people go, oh yeah, that was a good company. They did what they said. More even than purpose, more even than mission. All of that pales in comparison to, why did you ship my order to Florida when I'm in Wisconsin? I had that happen just this week. I got a note that it's been delivered, and I looked and it wasn't there. And then I looked at the tracking information, and it went to Coral Gables, Florida. Well, my guess is that was a vendor mistake. So a customer is something. It's not everything. Most won't come back again, no matter what you do. And in fact, figuring that out is one of the most profound ways to make money for your company. If we can figure out who won't buy again, and we can figure it out early enough in the process, then we can devote more energy to the higher potential ones. So that's a big goal in machine learning and predictive modeling. But anyway, Steven says movie lovers will stay movie lovers. Early adopters will remain early adopters. Now, what I would say there is that, I remember back in the 80s, getting a computer for my company when I was really starting out on my own. And it was a plasma screen, and it was all orange. This was before color screens. And it was the hottest thing on the market. It was the fastest. It had the most capacity, and it was like about 18 inches wide, about a foot high and a foot deep. It was a cube thing, and the screen kind of popped up like that, and then the keyboard kind of flipped out. It was big, and it was heavy. And I remember the day or two after I got it, hearing an announcement from, I think that was a Compaq, that a new model was available, and it had like double the memory or something. I don't remember. And somewhere along the way, I figured out that being an early adopter was probably a high price to pay, since they were changing all the time. I remember telling a boss about calculators and how they could now get a container load of calculators and decorate them. And he said, well, it's changing too fast. Sometimes a person that's an early adopter in one area is not an early adopter in another. And these are the kinds of things that Stephen kind of glosses over. But in spite of all that, behavior data is still better than click data or other things. And what do you mean by transaction data? Well, records of monetary transactions are stronger. Yeah, if they spend money, it's like not just a little stronger. It's like 10 times stronger than opens, clicks, views, calls, visits. Transaction data must answer the following questions. Who bought what product? That's not a simple question either. We had a client not long ago where uh, they tracked on credit card, and but we had a hard time figuring out where they were at at the time. They might have multiple houses. Now that was the good news. The good news was that the multiple houses we could consolidate on credit card. A lot of clients don't let us, and it was, that's a hard word to say. Anonymized it, I think is how you say it, making it anonymous. Anonymized the credit card data, but and generated a customer number. But the a lot of clients have given us data where every household is a unique customer. Some clients give us data where every transaction has a unique customer number. That's just the way, like the Microsoft AX system does that. Can't help it. It always assigns a new customer number. What's the point? There's no sense in that. Just give it a transaction number. Try and glue it together. But it doesn't glue together. It just doesn't glue together. And so you have to do a lot of work that way on who. Who was it? And should we have multiple decision makers in a household? Maybe. Depends a little. Depends a lot. We treat, oftentimes we glue the ship tos, or the where did they send the stuff. We glue it to one identity. We keep track of how much we spent contacting them, glue them all together, and how much we got in revenue. Now that in business to business, everybody says, "Oh no, you have to identify the key decision makers and influencers." Well, you can't. And in fact, we made some of the biggest money we've ever made by pushing together everybody in an office building. Because I worked in an ad agency, and my little persona, me, had 3 business names in 2 years. We kept changing it to see what would work best. And we were going after designers, graphic designers. And I knew from experience that oftentimes there's like an area of a big city, of a Chicago, northwest of the Loop, just northwest, where the artists kind of hang out. And I know that they have multiple business names, and they're probably doing different work for different people. And so they may do work under the umbrella of a big ad agency, or they may do work on their own. And you can see that in LinkedIn too. So we decided, instead of trying to figure out who's who, we would just figure out whether the building was worthwhile. Plus, we had an abundance of names because we were generating hundreds of thousands of leads every month. And so we just looked and said, well, okay, how many mailings did we send into that location, and how much business did we get out of it? And that determined the potential of that building as buyers. And then if we'd mailed somebody a couple of times and they hadn't ordered, we'd take one of those leads. Thank you for introducing my article in your forum. I have an 800-word limit. Yeah, okay, yeah, I know. Oh, I'm already too deep, Stephen. I always invite authors to come on and correct my mistakes, but you're the first one that's ever done it. So, well done, well done. We got to get you back on here, and we can work on this together. I was gonna try and put my book in with this because there's a lot of overlap and a lot of difference. Anyway, I'll just go on for a minute. We'll probably stop about here, so we'll probably cover a lot more tomorrow too. How much did they spend? You think, well, that's an easy one. It's not so easy. And Stephen down below points out that a customer that spends $1,000 but buys it on clearance, where there's only 10% margin, or maybe there's nothing, maybe it's sat around for a long time. So let's say there's 10% margin. Now you take out the contact cost, you take out the cost of goods, you take out the cost of order processing, and the net is zero. They were worth nothing. On the other hand, you got a customer that's bought $100 or $50 a couple of times, and they bought it at full price. And maybe it's a $70 or a 70% margin. And so they'll have $150 worth of profit, and they've only spent $300. It's possible. It's very possible. especially in consumer goods where some item, it's not what you, it's like the CEO of Toys R Us once said. They said, "How do you sell so cheap?" He said, "It's not what you sell it for; it's what you buy it for." So anyway, that stuff all matters. And Stephen points out below that it's great if you can get discount, but we always take it all the way to a kind of an EBITDA. So we take the price and we subtract out the cost of goods best we can find it, and then we take out the an order processing cost, and it's a really easy number. You just take out, you say, what's our marketing, merchandise overhead, and divide by the number of orders you process. I told George Mosier once that his order processing was $100 an order. He said, "No, it's not." I said, "Yeah, it really is. It's just off the P&L." He said, "I think it's about 40, Dick Cabela told me it was like $1.80 or something." I said, "There's no way it's $1.80." Anyway, so after the meeting with George, we went back in the other room, and I said, "Well, I'm just going to move it into fixed overhead on this model." And the controller said, "Yeah, that's fine. Just tell them it's 40 plus a lot of fixed overhead." You can do all this from the P&L, but anyway, so how much they spent is not so trivial. When and where was the purchase made? And that's another toughie. It sounds easy, but yeah, okay, so we made it at retail or we made it online. A lot of times it makes more sense to focus on where did it go? Where did it ship to? Like in furniture. I mean, we would see this pattern of go to the store, go to the web, go to the store, go to the web, and then the neighbor buys it. And, everything sounds like it's so simple, but it's not. But it's worth it. And having a lot of ways of looking at it is just crucial. Which is why even in our simplest RFM, we have about 25 ways of calculating R, F, and M. And then we get into product categories. So I've gone too long today. I want you to get this article. So you go to wdma.org and subscribe. And when you subscribe, that means that we keep in touch. And that's all it means. And we're not very diligent about sending emails, in case you haven't noticed. We're not going to abuse you, but then you can get at the members only area, which has the show notes every day. So get the show notes, get the rest of this article, because even though Stephen's limited to 800 words now, which he didn't used to be, I don't think, I still didn't get more than a third of the way in. Like and share. Your friends will know you're smart. While you're there, register for the meetup. We have a lot of fun, and we already have more people than we probably can handle, but not everybody shows up. I admit it. Have a great day. Oh, okay, yeah, we'll do it live. Oh, that would be great. Okay, I will follow up on that one, Stephen. I'm excited to do that, and really great that you chimed in. That's so funny. Okay, have a great